Welcome back to the next episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Generation Next Tournament here on the Homeboys channel. Today we have Sarina going up against Professor X Miller. So, Load of Darkness is going to be the ace monster of this deck, and this deck is kind of all over the place, so really bear with me here. 2 tributes, 3000 attack, can't be destroyed by battle, but it's not allowed to attack directly. But when it does kill an opponent's monster by battle, they take an extra 700 points of damage. Very, very interesting. You have a couple of zombies in here. Actually, fairies, excuse me. So you have Silver Spirit Psycheo and Silver Spirit Ukyo. When you summon one, you can revive the other from the graveyard. That's it. They're both very weak. One has 800 attack, one has 600 attack. That's about all that they have going on over here. And so the whole thing is, you're going to go ahead and you're going to use your full moon mirror. Every time a monster gets destroyed, place a counter on it with a maximum of 10. When it has 10 freaking counters, send it to the graveyard to play your field spell, the Infinite Fiend Mirror. This is not the only way you can play it though, so honestly, if you draw it, just go ahead and do that. During the end phase, when you have a Load of Darkness, you can summon a bunch of darkness tokens, you know, just out to the field, and they have the exact same stats and effect. 3000 attack tokens, they do 700 damage when they kill someone. They can't attack directly. Why you need a field full of monsters that can't attack directly, I do not know and I do not understand. But yeah, that's about it. If they kill the original Load of Darkness though, you kill all the tokens on the field as well. So that really sucks. With all this mirror themes, you know, I went ahead and threw in some mirror themed cards. So of course you have Mirror Route. You can attack directly with the monster that has 1000 or less. You have Moon Mirror Shield. You can equip it onto a monster, and basically anytime it fights in battle, it will always be 100 points stronger than your opponent's monster. Reaction Star Mirror. You can give this to whoever monster, and the opponent takes damage instead of whoever controls that monster. So if I go ahead and give this to my Ukyo and I attack a Red Eyes, they'll take the damage instead of me. That's basically how that goes ahead and works. For the trap lineup, you do have Mirror Mail. Your monsters will become tied attack. Mirror Wall. Cut your opponent's attack points in half whenever they attack your monsters. Soul Mirror. Get rid of any card on your field to summon back any monster from your graveyard, etc, etc, etc. Now, to keep the mirror theme going and also give this deck some stability and something good to work with, we do play the Dream Mirror cards. And so basically the way that this works is you want to get both field spells out on the field, and you can do that with their spells and traps, which allow you to play one on each person's side of the field. So every single monster in the Dream Mirror archetype has another monster that's a different attribute, and its attack and defense are swapped. So this dark one here, Phantasos, the Dream Mirror Foe, 1900 attack, 900 defense. But if you have the light field spell anywhere on the field, you can tag them out anytime you want into Phantasos, the Dream Mirror Friend. 900 attack, 1900 defense, so on and so forth. If you have the dark field spell, you can tag it back into this. That is how Sarina's deck operates. Moving on to her opponent. So Howard X Miller is exactly how it sounds. 45 card deck, and his deck is based around throwing away cards from your opponent's deck, milling them out, decking them out. And that's what all of his monsters do. That's what all of his spells and traps do, everything. It's all about getting through your opponent's deck quicker and making sure that they hit 0. When you have no cards left in your deck and you try to draw, you automatically lose. The star monster is this level jar over here. You shuffle back all monsters on the field into the deck, and then you take the combined number of their levels, and that's how many cards that you have to draw. So, you know, if the total level of monsters on my field is 10 and I shuffle them back with level jar, I draw 10 cards. But the thing is, if you don't draw one of the cards that got sent back into your deck, then you throw away your entire hand. Or all the cards that you drew, I should say. So level jar is doubly dangerous because of that, despite its weak, you know, setup. Gravekeeper's Servant over here, you have to throw away a card from the top of your deck every time you want to attack your opponent, that is. Super Guard over here, you can pay 500 life points. Your monsters won't be destroyed by battle, That way you can keep recycling some of your flip effect monsters, especially with level jar. You have Purse with the hole over here. When you fill up your opponent's hand and it gets to 6 or more cards, they randomly throw away every extra card in their hand until they have 5 left. So you have a lot of hand destruction going on in this deck as well. And then you also have the Monster Register. You have to pay 1,000 life points to activate this continuous trap card. Whenever your opponent summons a monster, they throw away cards from the top of their deck equal to its level. So very, very deadly stuff. And to make this deck even more potent than it already is, we have the empty jar strategy, which is using all the different jar monsters in order to deck out your opponent, which is why every single jar monster, except for this one right here, has been or is still on the ban list. So, level jar, shuffle monsters back, draw a bunch of cards based on their levels. Cyber jar, destroy every monster, both players get the top 5 cards of their deck. Absorbing jar, destroy all face down spells and traps. For every spell and trap that you had destroyed, you get to draw a card. Morphing jar, both players throw away their entire hand and draw 5 new cards. Morphing jar number 2, shuffle all monsters on the field back into the deck, and you reveal cards from the top until you get the same number of monsters revealed. Every non-monster or every high-level monster gets sent to the graveyard. Book a Tayo to flip up your face-down monsters as soon as you play them face down. Book of Eclipse to set every single monster on the field face down. And at the end of the turn, your opponent flips up all of their monsters and draws a card for every single one that was flipped with this effect. The Shallow Grave to set back flip monsters from your graveyard to use their effect again. And Present card. Your opponent throws away their entire hand and draws 5 brand new cards. This is one of the deadliest decks in the entire tournament, going up against Sarina and her mirror deck. Let's see how this goes. Let the duel begin. Round 1 between Sarina and Howard X Miller. Sarina has turn 1, and she's going to just go ahead and set a monster and pass turn over to Miller. He's going to use Cup of Ace. So if it's heads, he draws 2. If it's tails, she draws 2. And it is heads, so he gets a +2. Going to use another one, and unfortunately for him, he did not get to shorten out her deck whatsoever. So he did draw 4 cards, though, on the plus side. So there's 4 face downs and a Needleworm lying in wait for Sarina to go ahead and activate. Here comes Monster Register and Soul Connection. So he's going to get any monster he wants, and Sarina has to throw away cards from her deck every single time she summons a monster. And he's going to go ahead and search for another Needleworm. On Sarina's turn, she's going to flip summon her Silver Spirit, meaning she has to throw away her top 3 cards, and she's going to go ahead and swing. She does manage to kill the Needleworm, but when it gets flipped, your opponent loses 5 cards. So automatically, there goes 8 cards. That's almost a fourth of her entire deck already gone. She's going to tribute it for the Magic Mirror Spirit Asogi, but that's a level 6, so there goes 6 more. However, one of the cards that got hit was the Magic Mirror Spirit Nayuta. When you summon one, you get to summon the other. It's supposed to be like a metaphor for her and her brother and how close they are. So she has a 2600 on the board. She did, however, also hit the Dawn Knight, so she's going to go ahead and use that effect. But first, another mill of 6 cards. One monster went back to the deck, and she's left with only 14 cards left. So she has to really make do with this. Fortunately for her, she hit a level jar. So she's going to go ahead and draw a whopping total of 12 cards. One of them still is in her hand, so she gets to keep all 12 of the brand new cards, but she's left with only 4 in her deck, and she had to throw away most of them, because the rule in Yu-Gi-Oh is when your turn ends, if you have more than 6 cards, you have to get rid of all the rest until you have exactly 6 left. So she went ahead and left herself with 2 level 4s and a bunch of spells, and just summoning one of those level 4s is already deadly because she has nothing left to sacrifice for the Monster Register. But here comes Card Destruction and Purse with the Hole as well, in order to really pile things on. So she loses a card from her hand. She has to draw 5. She can't draw 5 cards. Howard wins this duel. Round 2 between Sarina and Howard X Miller. Sarina's going to go first once again. She's going to start off with the Mathematician, which is a very bold move because she's going up against a deck that wants her deck to shrink and deck out. But she's going to throw away a monster willingly from her deck. So she throws out her big boss monster. She plays a face down card and passes it over. Professor Howard X Miller opens up with Gravekeeper Servant. So Sarina has to throw away the top card of her deck every single time she attacks. Pot agreed to really go through stuff and see what else he can pick up. He T-sets and he ends. Over on Sarina's turn once again, Soul Mirror is actually going to sacrifice the Mathematician to bring out the Load of Darkness. So yeah, you're going to lose cards every time it attacks. You're going to do damage every time it attacks. And so here also comes the Niroi, the Dream Mirror Disciple, in order to add its own presence. Load of Darkness does 7. Warm Worm is going to throw away the top 3 cards, and then I believe they're going to go ahead and use Niroi in order to attempt to attack, but Recycle Barrier will negate it, so they lost a card for nothing. Down to 28 cards left in deck. Howard Miller, though, can throw away a trap card from his hand in order to add back the Recycle Barrier. So now he has 2, Cup of Ace, and it was Tails. Sarina draws twice. 2 face down cards back to Sarina. She's going to go ahead and summon out the Phantastos, the Dream Mirror Foe, before activating the Dream Mirror of Terror. It won't do anything for this, but it'll be here. It'll be present. So you know what? That's something, I guess. And every time your opponent special summons, they lose 300 points of damage. So you might be slowly chipping away at them little by little. Here comes 1,000, but it gets negated. Here comes 1,900, but no damage is possible when you use the Recycle Barrier. So he threw away an extra card for absolutely no reason. And before he goes ahead and recycles the Recycle Barrier once again, here comes the Dream Mirror Recap. So whenever you're going to tribute a Dream Mirror to use its own effect, instead of sending it to the graveyard, you're actually going to put it back into the deck, which is really, really nice. So there's that continuous trap card right there for Sarina to go ahead and use later on. Hopefully, Howard has nothing, so he's going to end his turn. Sarina sets 2, and she's going to start attacking. So there's 1,000 damage, and it was about to be 19, but Recycle Barrier is activated. So once again, she lost 2 cards from the top of her deck and didn't accomplish anything with that. Recycle Barrier will keep on recycling, but at the end of his turn, the Dream Mirror of Terror will swap into the Dream Mirror of Joy. And so now they'll be able to switch out the Phantastos whenever they want to. Soul Mirror is going to throw away their face down trap because Sarina says this is useless. They can't attack me. It's a defensive deck. So they're going to do that in order to summon out the Morpheus Dream Mirror Black Knight that was actually milled away just earlier. So now you have a big presence. You have 1,000 damage there. 19 here. Dawn Knight's going to do a thing. And 2,800 to the face. But here comes the Recycle Barrier. And again, I don't know why he doesn't use this much earlier, but I mean, I guess it doesn't entirely matter. I can't say that I understand it. They're gonna swap out the Phantastos for the Dream Mirror Friend and swing for 900, or attempt to, I should say. But here comes the Dream Mirror of Chaos. So you can use a light and a dark now in order to fuse for Oneros, the Dream Mirror Tormentor, with 3,000 attack and defense. They have been milling their own cards like crazy. I know some of them probably have a graveyard effect. Maybe that's what Sarina is really aiming for here. During the main phase, you can send the Dream Mirror Recap from the field to the graveyard in order to take a banished field spell or a field spell from your graveyard and put it in your field zone. So they're going to go ahead and swap the Dream Mirror Joy for the Dream Mirror of Terror. Here comes another Recycle Barrier, unfortunately, and Howard is doing a fantastic job of stalling. They're going to use the Niroi in order to special summon itself from the hand, and now that it was special summoned, he gets to go ahead and swap out a card. So here is the Silver Spirit Psycheo, which he's going to, normal summon, or she, excuse me. So now they have both of the Silver Spirits. Neko attacks once, and I'm not sure why they're not able to actually respond with the Recycle Barrier. Is it some effect on the Dream Mirror, maybe? I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I mean, they took a lot of damage here. There's another 600, there's 800. Sarina has won this duel. Final round between Sarina and Howard X Miller is now upon us, and it looks like he actually is running the empty jar. Gravekeeper serving right off the bat, threatening roar in order to stall. Back over to Sarina for her first turn. We have a Silver Spirit, so she's going to dump a card and end turn after 800 points of damage. Miller actually draws a Hero Shadow Scout, but Dream Mirror Hypnagogia, will put both of the field spells from the deck on both players' side of the field. So now Sarina's deck will be able to run at full power. Set, attack. Here comes Hero Shadow Scout. It's protected by the Super Guard. So Sarina draws 3 cards, and if there's any spell cards, she loses all of those. But she drew 3 monsters. Absolutely clutch. Sets 1 and passes over to Miller. He's going to have to pay 500 every time he wants to keep Super Guard. And here is the Dream Mirror recap in order to send tributed Dream Mirrors back into the deck. Another Psycho hits the field, or a Psycho hits the field to get out a Ukyo that was chilling in the graveyard earlier. Phantasmos is here with 900. They can't do anything though, so they have to just pass turn since they cannot kill this monster. We're going to see the Pot of Prosperity banish 6 fusions. They're going to reveal the top 6 cards of their deck, and they get to take 2 of them, it looks like. No, just 1 of them. Okay. So here is the Cyber Jar, and the rest of the cards that were revealed go to the bottom of the deck. So Cyber Jar is set. Book a Tayo in order to activate it, but Sarina responds with Mirror World Break, which banishes any monster on the opponent's field, so she's going to banish that Cyber Jar. Book of Eclipse in order to set everything face down, get Sarina to draw a total of 4 cards right before her turn, but he's stacking up her hand immensely. Here comes the Dream Mirror Phantasm, it's a continuous spell card that lets you add a Dream Mirror monster from your deck to your hand. When the light field spell is on the field, all your monsters get 500. When the dark field spell is on the field, all your opponent's monsters lose 500. And here we see she's going to tag out her Phantasmos for the dark element for that 1900. Going to use its effect, but here comes a threatening roar. So no attack is possible this turn, unfortunately. And there is a level jar that is going to be Book of Tayo to activate early. But here comes the counter trap card, Dream Mirror Oneromancy. So when your opponent uses a spell or trap card, while you have the Dream Mirror of Joy, you can negate it and then destroy it. So Book of Tayo will effectively be negated. They will not be able to get the level jar this turn. Here comes the Nayroi Dream Mirror Disciple to the field once again. It's going to get its effects to send back the Gravekeeper Servant since it was summoned. And here is Morpheus, the Dream Mirror Black Knight, for a massive 28, tagging himself out automatically for the Morpheus Dream Mirror White Knight in defense mode. It's going to tag itself out once again. I have no idea what kind of... Oh, okay. So they did that to get its effect off of the Dark Morpheus. When he gets special summoned, he can destroy a monster. So Level Jar actually got destroyed, and he's able to still keep the light Morpheus in his deck. Gonna swing, tag out, Hero Shadow Scout. He did lose a fusion spell, but he got 2 monsters added to, or she got 2 monsters added to her hand. Here is another level jar. Unfortunately, Servant is back on the field, but they're going to tag out the Morpheus again in order to, I would assume, take care of this threat. Yeah, so Morpheus tags out once again. They're going to destroy the face down monster, and luckily they hit the level jar for the 2nd time now. Mathematician's coming out to the field, got rid of a spell card that they don't really want to draw into right now, and their field is looking absolutely insane. If they could just get past this Hero Shadow Scout and start doing some damage, which they will, thanks to the effect of Morpheus. Oh, okay, so they actually decided to get rid of Toll, which is just as good. Either or, you know, you could have technically done more damage getting rid of Shadow Scout instead, but either way, this is still game. Sarina has won the duel.
Turn your appearance to a disappearance. I fuck with nothing but gangsters, nothing but hustler niggas. Sound off, sound off.